It's not recording.
Game break.
Alright, so we should be live now.
Alright, good morning everybody. We're back here. I'm James Hosford. This is part test. We're apologising for our issues earlier. We're attempting to sort them, which this effort here is part of. And as part of those efforts, we'll be randomly doing some extra content here and see if it works. I've got Eden Hodge with me, who is the tech wizard who's been sorting all this out, but also, more importantly, our Bluebottles. How are you feeling about that first match now? I saw you, even with all our dramas here, you managed to get yourself on and carve up.
Yeah, so after unfortunately dealing with the weather issues with the venue, we are doing our best to get this stream up and running. I was actually late to my own game, which is always fun, but unfortunately seems to be a common occurrence. But with the Bottles game, yeah, it felt like we did really well. I think we really need to improve on our contact when we go up against Victoria. That's something that I felt we were lacking. But overall, keen for it.
Awesome. So you got Victoria out now in about, what, 10 minutes time, I believe?
Yep, at 11 o'clock.
Awesome. I know it's at 10:45, so I'll let you go very shortly and get yourself ready. Apparently it's due 10:45.
All right, well, I will.
But that's all good. Then. Yeah, you'll be out of it. Yeah, all right, you can take off there. I'm going to bring in Jacob Sutherland now. You're wet, life.
Black box over in that side.
Alright, so I'm just filling this point. So we got Jacob Sutherland here. How was that game against Victoria for you guys?
Excellent, mate. Excellent. Really good first game. We live?
Yep.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, it was good. I think probably the toughest one we expect for the day. So definitely like reflected that in the scoreline.
Yeah.
And we felt a bit nervous, but it was good to sort of get on top and then get the catch as well. So.
Yeah, it seemed to have a lot of phases to it where you're on top early and then it stalled out for a bit and then...
Yeah,
what insight can you give us about like structural changes and any real... Like what changes did you make through that game that you felt like got you guys back on the front foot again towards the end?
Good question. I feel like a good point about the phases because it definitely was... We kept them scoreless for a good part of the game, but conversely didn't score many at the start, so it was very low scoring. I think... Once our second line came on, I think it was Max and Raj. It ended up being with Carrie and Bianca. Some conglomeration of those four.
Did I leave a mouth guard up here? Oh, I did.
Some conglomeration of those four really got what we were trying to do, which was commit them to the drive and then pass off. So that was really positive. And I think Maddie coming on especially to beat.
Yeah.
And Kelsey and Zale as well. I think they got on top of their matchups. I think Harry and Sam had a very tough start. So they reflective of why we were up. And then mid-game, Maddie, Kelsey and Zale I remember being quite good in getting us turnovers. Yeah,
that's going to be the challenge with this Sam Chittenden functioning largely as a beater all weekend, which, you know, we know she's got the quality to everything she does, but you see there, especially in that game, it's a learning curve.
Oh, she was excellent. Yeah. Not to say that at all.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that was the toughest matchup. I think Sam Kilpatrick started for them.
Yeah, Kilpatrick's a big in for him this year.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty happy. We know we've got a bit to improve on from that game, but yeah, reasonably pleased.
So, turning to the next game here, which you'll be covering for us, we've got Bluebottles. So we've got Victoria backing up again. And that's always a tough one. They're only on about a 15-minute break, but that's something everyone's got to manage at some point over the weekend. Facing the Bluebottles, who've come off a really good first-up win. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think it's quite fortuitous from Victoria in a roundabout sort of way. It's good to start off the tournament with a loss. I know that sounds ridiculous.
No, I know what you mean.
It's better to start off with a win, but if your loss is going to come, you want it to start off at the start. So
100%.
A tough, close loss to the defending champions, I think is a really good platform to build off. So I would be scared of playing them in this second game. That being said, there'll be a bit of tightness, a bit of soreness, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the Bluebottles, I didn't catch much of their game this morning because we were warming up. But I think similar to us in like, they had trouble adapting to the conditions, very wet, drop balls and things. So they're going to have to clean that up against a probably more disciplined Victoria.
Yeah, and a bigger Victorian team.
Correct. Yeah. I think that's a great point as well. Queensland have size in patches, but Victoria are a much more muscled team.
Yeah.
Getting past Hannah Rawravens, Max Popley, Maddie Elliott, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But I expect another close game.
Yeah, me too. Should be good.
I'll be right back.
Alright, so I've lost Jacob here for a minute.
What do you need watch for?
He's the comms on this game, right?
It's me and Harry.
Yeah, good, you're in. Join me now. Sit down. Alright, I've now got Max Brenner here. So we're going to have Max on with Harrison Jones this game here. So as I was talking to Jacob about after that game there, we got, firstly, let's reflect back. How was that first game for you guys against Victoria there?
It was a slow start, and I think
I mean, everyone always says, look, yeah, coming into sport, especially coming, interstate flight, you have a slow start. But it was just, it was slow start, and people, you can talk as much, it's windy, it's the conditions, but it takes some time when you're actually out there to get over that, and that really makes a difference just in being in-game.
Yeah, we saw that in midwinter too, the transition. It's surprising sometimes. Wind is such a simple thing, but even at this level, often especially at this level, because everything's so regimented and disciplined, and you've got sort of set plays, and you spend so much time kind of drilling everything that as soon as you bring in anything that breaks you out of
An
those
external
rhythms,
factor.
it
Absolutely.
So as opposed to when you just kind of wing it and figure it out.
I think actually that unofficial timeout that wasn't actually timeout actually benefited us quite well, because I think that last kind of third of the game, New South Wales really brought it up and started looking for those shorter passes, started looking for that what was actually going to generate some goals more efficiently, and that worked out quite well. I was full credit to Victoria. That was really well done from them. They really put it all out there. And I think that shows, and they've got a quality squad. So we'll see them coming up now again against the B team. But we'll see how we go. This is the grudge match coming up. This is the spice. This is the excitement. Obviously, last year we had the very close games between the Bottles and Victoria, and so we're going to see a rematch here with arguably quite a different Victorian squad, I would say.
Yeah. So what's your prediction on this one?
I mean, having just played Victoria, I will see what kind of strategies and lessons they can learn from that first game, and as always, it's whether they can implement them or not. I think we're in for a nail biter here. I think it's going to be real close, and I think it's going to be a catch that decides.
Yeah, I feel similar as well. It's the big challenge of Bluebottles is can they deal with the physicality and the size, the consistent size of Victoria.
Having just played them, they didn't really use it.
Interesting.
They didn't really use that size. Potentially that's because they were coming up against people where that size doesn't
change.
work, where that matchup changes. But we only really saw a drive or two from Victoria, if you remember back in that first game.
True.
So whether they use that size advantage over people like Max Pockley coming in, driving through, we'll see. Remains to be seen as this game kind of comes on.
Yep. Awesome. So we're going to have Harry Jones coming in shortly. And so I'll leave this game in the capable hands of Max now. And Max will bring Harry in when he feels like it. All right,
Thank you very much.
Have a good call. Hopefully it's all working now. I'm going to go and monitor it all. All right. Have a good game.
Welcome, Harry.
Thank you very much. Exciting to be here. I'm so ready for a throwback match. This is a grudge match.
It is a grudge match, and it's going to be exciting.
Oh, it's going to be bitter. It's going to be bitter. I love it.
Both these people, and quite a few people on the Bluebottles actually were on that team last year, who were there for that that hype, that moment.
Absolutely.
So they're going to be feeling that. They're going to be feeling that last game loss, and what are they going to do about it?
I do know that Giacomo has drawn on his armband today the goal that he scored against Victoria to finish the game last year.
Very nice, very nice.
So he's channeling that and ready to go. That's Giacomo Abugba.
Yeah.
Number 3 from the Bluebottles. I have an exciting update for you, Max.
Yes.
I just spoke with both of the coaches of the team, JP and Cameron Walker, coaches of either team, and they have given me some interesting insight into what they think will come up in this game.
Oh yeah? Tell.
Cameron Walker says that the McDonald's menu item that best represents this game is a vanilla thick shake and a fillet of fish.
I feel like we need to re-bring in Hoss for this kind of commentary.
It's a very important conversation right now.
What kind of Macca's items are being shown here?
Exactly right. And if you want to find out what JP says about the Victorian side, he says he'd be happy with a nice solid meal, quarter pounder and fries. Quarter pounder and fries comes from Victorian coach JP.
Okay, I wouldn't really say I'm not that familiar with the Macca's items, so
no, they're right. I'm a vegetarian.
Okay, yeah, well, don't know how much to read into that. It probably just both being ambiguous, and in terms of enjoyment, as much as one can enjoy Macca's item, I would say relatively even, which is what I see this game as being.
Yep, absolutely.
I think this is going to come down to a catch. Speaking of. Who do you think has the stronger? I think it's going to come down to a catch. And who do you think has the stronger seeker core?
Oh, seeker core. I think Victoria's seekers are fantastic. They're very, very good and very, very unassuming. They're good at finding their time, good at finding their moment. I think they almost had the catch in that game against the Blue Tongues. if it went for a well-timed beat by Samantha Chittenden, I think we would have found ourselves on the other end of that game.
Yeah.
The Bluebottles, I think, will struggle a little bit more in the seeking. They can throw some physicality at it, but the finesse and the tactics maybe are not as developed.
I think that's that element of experience there, but you got people like Carl Koverick coming in as their starting seeker, I believe, in the first game.
Time for state, yeah.
And first time state, and that does matter. That experience does matter. So we'll see. I think, as seeking, it also kind of comes down to the beta core there and how much time you're actually giving them there, and how much time you're actually giving your seekers. And I think Victoria potentially has a little bit of an edge there in terms of the beta core, in terms of just giving the seeker a little bit of time. But yes, some evenly matched teams, and we'll see how we go once the match progresses.
All right, we have starting lines here for Victoria. We have Mish Oble, Sam Kilpatrick, Nathan Morton, and Matt Tingate. For the Bluebottles, we have Chris Collins, Vicky Hun, Charlotte
Wen,
Ryan, Harry, H, Eloise.
Sarah
Varathy running for the ball against Nathan Morton.
There we go.
We'll find Quaffle with Victoria on the fast break, but the Bluebottles claim bludger control. That is a goal to Victoria on a shot from Nathan Morton.
H running the wrong way there. I think getting a little bit confused of the switch start. But first goal being conceded, you got to take those.
We're seeing some loopy passes in the wind here, moving around the Bluebottles. Is one of the things that they struggled with in the first game, was using their long passes to maneuver. And we're going to see if they've learned from that or how they've adapted. That's going to be a dismount, I believe, and a turnover. Oh,
well, that's a double turnover there. H
getting the goal.
That's very exciting. Got
away with one there. I think got away with one there.
Yeah, I don't know if he was glad to be there, but refs are going to call it.
He's definitely dismounted himself in the tackle right before.
Oh well, that's how it goes.
You win some, you lose some.
An unlucky fumble there from Victoria, and then picked up by H, plucked out of the air there, which is
fantastic.
Quite nice.
Fantastic finish.
All right, so we have Nathan Morton bringing the ball up, looking for something with Mish here, beaters Sam Kilpatrick and Obel Rennie.
It's an interesting pairing, Sam Kilpatrick and Obel Rennie. We've got one of the highest active in terms of actions per minute.
Great take from
things
Nathan
done. Sam Kilpatrick loves running around, is very active in the field. And then you have Obel Rennie, who is usually a more slow, calculated player and likes making really smart, consistent decisions. So it's an interesting pairing and not entirely natural.
Well, we'll see. Maybe they're looking for that, like a bit of positive negatives, a bit of ice and water, a bit of, ice and fire kind of.
Oh, great strip from Mish. Great strip.
Well done.
An incredible athlete, Mish. Very often able to do things that surprise you, that you do not expect.
Vicky Quinn maintaining her bludger there in midfield as Sam Kilpatrick trying to go for a beat. We've got all three bludgers on the floor now. Obel coming in hot for a tackle there. Got a brooms down here.
This is really going to be the tactic to keep. Yes, we're running. This is really going to be the tactic that the Bluebottles need to make sure that this game remains even. If they can control the bludgers and make sure that they're minimizing fast breaks against them, they will be able to keep this game close. If they get sloppy with their bludger control, they're going to find it much harder to get control back, and then we're going to really, really struggle long.
Great hit there by Ryan.
Beautiful.
Got him lined up.
And a no bludgers opportunity here.
There's a no bludgers opportunity. Let's see if Charlotte recognises. She's off to the races. Here we go.
You need a hit.
Give it off to Chris. Vicky sending it.
Oh, straight into a tackle.
Chris looking at the bludger, unfortunately.
And Nathan Morton, the wily vet, picks him up.
And the Wool Ravens goes in for the tackle. We've got Matt Tingate jumping in there as well.
Cooper's begun his countdown to turn over the ball.
That's going to be a Victorian ball there. That is a ball out.
It should be a Victoria ball.
A Victorian ball there, yeah. So it was a great defense there. Unfortunate from Chris that he was looking over his shoulder as Nathan was lining him up.
We have substitutions from the entire Victorian line. I think they're changing everybody over but Mish and Matt Tingate.
That's Pockley coming on.
New beater pair.
And Nikolai Jung coming on as well.
Jung.
So let's see what.
We haven't had a rotation yet from the Bluebottles. This is the really dangerous time for them. The size differential is going to make it really easy to drive on them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Max Pockley can do here.
And Victoria will. And
Victoria. Great pass off. Chris gets the hand on it.
That's a dismount.
Pushes Matt in the. Dismount from Matt Tingate. Unfortunate there. Just fumbled the ball into an awkward position there.
We're going to see it again and again and again. Victoria are going to win the 1.5 because they know their win condition for the game. They know that they can drive and they know that they'll do much, much worse if they lose bludger control.
Ryan Shields looking for a tackle there, but Nikolai Jung quite effective at sidestepping there to open something up.
Oh, it's a miss, unfortunately, by Rob. And Jung cleaning up, expecting
Got
a
Taylor
turnover
looking
here,
the
yes.
ball out. Pockley picking
Right,
it up.
and they're going to make a no bludger.
Gonna be a
This
no
is
bludger
what you're afraid
situation
of
here.
if you're the Bluebottles. If you're Cameron
Yeah.
Walker over there in the blue,
Well, Max Pockley not
what
taking it
you-
himself.
That's not what you're afraid of.
Giving it off to Mishra. Lots of underarm passing here. Hannah Ravens keeping it safe. Just overshooting the pass a little bit to Matt
Next
Tingate.
stop there, Hannah Ravens. We're looking for some big things from her.
Oh, a bit of power shot there.
And a
power
finish
pass
there.
there through to Max Pockley from Matt Tingate. That was beautiful. I don't know what he was
Excellent.
going for there, but it did work. It was quite effective.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, the score is 20-10 at the current moment. Victoria has 20, the Bluebottles have 10.
Got George Karan and Rebecca Robb coming on as the beating pair. So that's the only players that have substituted themselves on the bottles. The only change that's been made. So the Chasers running themselves a little bit into the game. H getting a step on Max Pockley, looking for a shot there through the middle.
Oh, no
Unfortunately,
goal.
just missing there. Eloise Taylor picking it up straight into Max Pockley's hands.
If I'm Victoria here, I turn the pace on George and Rebecca Robb. The speed that the team will be able to put out should create lots of advantages for them, even if there's a bludger on defense. All right, looking at what Victoria is going to set up here. Nicola Gertler protecting her chasers. What I'd like to see a lot more from Victoria is setting up some of their players for shots. We haven't seen so far this tournament some of the excellent finishing and shooting from their female players that they have.
Chris managed to hold on there. Max Pockley, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Once Max Pockley, I think this just figures out.
That's going to be a Victoria ball. Victoria ball up the back there, off of Charlotte and
Yeah, and what I was saying, I think once Victoria figure out that they can actually go through some of these New South Wales players. Chris himself, yeah, good tackler. I would say probably not through Chris, but most of that Bluebottles team you could probably go through.
Jack should be
so
pushing
to
her
say.
off here. Should be trying to get her out off the field.
Jack Emerton with the ball there. Hannah Ravens jumping
we
in
go.
there as well, but George Karan's going to clean that up.
And we see here this is probably one of the bigger weaknesses of this Victorian team. At no point in time did they make a play with the bludgers.
Yeah.
They refused to use these bludgers in these situations where
And I
they
feel like
could
that's-
have created some really good play there if they got a bit risky, but they will consistently choose not to, and that will...
And I feel like that's a bit of a trend of Victorian style of play. They like to get that control and then hold on to it. And use that to stop those, last second, a person who's right at hoops, that use it for that beat. They're not really going to push out. They're going to risk it out wide.
Oh.
Speaking of there, Nicola Gertler hitting Hannah Ravens in the head with her own bludger. Unfortunately,
That will
generates
turn over
the
bludger
turnovers
control. I don't know who you blame there.
Yeah.
Oh, and a turnover.
Alex Butler with a
steal.
turnover. Giacomo drops his broom in surprise.
Oh,
We've
Chloe
got,
shot.
Chloe
Oh.
Nebo with a shot over the top, but gets beat out by Nikolai Jung.
She takes those.
Oh, absolutely, you take those. Especially when you're running into a beater and there's no supporting chases, you just gotta shoot it. I think that whole offensive sequence there was a surprise to most of the
You gotta want it.
Bluebottles, and Giacomo was so surprised he dropped his broom. So
Classic.
yeah,
Standard. Like we said at the beginning of the game, Giacomo a bug keeper now for the Bluebottles who is on. We also have Amy on in the closest hoop, and we have Alex Butler subbed on with Chloe Nebo to round out their chaser rotation as their first sub. This line is very, very good at shooting. They love their shooting. If you give them open hoops, you will be very much punished, but
George Karan missing the beat there on Jack Emerton.
can they find the gaps?
George has to go for a run here, get his bludger back. There's a timer on this. George
We have a player down with injury.
down with injury, unfortunately.
A player running for a bludger off field George Curran has slipped and hurt his shoulder.
I'm actually seeing a lot of the same of what we saw from Victoria in that last game. If they're not really sending that person out behind hoops, right? They are playing that pretty shallow offense, looking to generate just options through the front.
Yeah,
Right.
they want to try and work their way in using beater pressure, but not actually using the bludgers, so that they can take a step, beat a point, and take a shot or one pass.
Yeah.
We're not seeing a lot of dynamic flow. They're executing well.
I actually disagree with that. I think they're flowing through the front. They're moving the ball side to side there, but they're not really gaining any space there. Is how I would say. I mean, they're not gaining space. They're not gaining space, but they are moving the ball. It's just about whether they can actually effectively do that. right? Can they actually take that space? Because you need to get close to actually genuinely get in a scoring position.
Now, I'm no referee, but the player who is injured is
head referee from first game.
Is off pitch.
Yes.
I would be restarting this game with a player inbounding the ball from the hard boundary because the player is off pitch. Thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason why you would not do that. It is the same as when a chaser has to inbound the ball and you just take the closest player and move him there.
Well, you'd just be the substitution for the player who is injured. George should.
Yeah, it'd be a bit rough having to go off and run from where George went down. I mean, back to the old days of the hard boundary, soft boundary.
Oh, we don't talk about those days.
The old pill shape.
I'm pretty sure we're going to have to turn off the stream now. Someone mentioned that IQA is coming for us.
Different rules based on different lines. I think, I only joined in 2017, but I think those are really the glory days. More lines is more good is what I always say.
Can't get through a Quidditch broadcast without mentioning off-pitch seeking.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. I unfortunately never experienced the love-hate relationship that people seem to have with off-pitch seeking.
You never will.
I'm sure there'll be a fantasy at some point where someone decides to bring it back.
I won't be there.
Did you ever play any games with off-pitch seeking?
Nope. I started playing the week that Australia won the World Cup.
No,
so all these people came back with some big attitudes, and I was like, who are these people?
Who are these people? That's good. It's good for their egos. It does look like we've got JV James Lim.
JV James Christopherson Lim is his full name. Social security numbers.
The quad master himself. The quad monster.
That's right.
Coming in and substituting on the line there.
Yeah. An interesting fact about JV James Christopherson Lim is that when deciding which beater should go with which female beater and which male beater should go together, the JV was paired with all female chasers. All female beaters. All of the female beaters.
All female chasers.
They're like, who should this female beater work with? JV. Who should this female work with? JV.
Okay, yeah. So there we go. We've got a goal there to Victoria. I believe that is...
I do love that we have a referee on pitch who is currently drinking a coffee and eating a bagel.
That's Andrew?
That's Ava.
No.
I know, yes. Okay, a ball off pitch. We turned over to Victoria, and we're going to look for a fast break here. They want it. They want that speed. We have Kath Lloyd coming onto the field as well. And Andrew starting a drive. And this is the real threat. This is what we're looking for. Not going to have a lot to stop that goal. Ooh. That should be a goal to Victoria. That ball went right through the hoop.
Looks like
got away with one there.
Calling the block on that. Giacomo looking for something here. I don't mind this actually. I'm a big fan of just like take those first few steps while you're looking, right? Start generating that fast break, and then if you're like, actually it's not on, that's when you pull the brakes. And just looking for that opportunity. Over Rennie pushing Giacomo out. Giacomo's getting a good pass over.
Oh, we got a bludger coming out. We got bludger control turning over. Oh, and a big shot in the wind and the rain. Oh, and a great run from Nikolai Young.
Yeah,
JV James Christopherson needed to push that, I think, and take a beat and make him do a throwback. Make Nikolai do a throwback there.
Yep.
You need to fight for that control. It's been so hard for your team without control to push for these goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chances have been given a warning for back checks. Cooper's been given too much there.
You mean Bottles?
Yeah.
Right.
So a warning for back chat from the Bottles.
Some
great 1.5
great mac and cheese
into
here.
the zone, and that's
Missed Alex Butler with the
Keepers.
block though, straight into Giacomo's hands. Giacomo out of zone here, can get tackled. Andrew getting called back to hoops.
We should be turning on the Jets here, I think. We want the Jets, we want the shot.
We've got that's Andrew.
And that's might be a high contact call.
Adrian in keeping, taking a tackle there on Giacomo. Good tackle there. Giacomo just holding onto it, getting the ball out to Chloe Kneebone.
And shot.
There's no bludgers here. That's a shot right through the...
That's a goal! Kneebone 39, captain of the Bluebottles, scoring the second goal, bringing us score to 20-30.
Absolutely, that was very good from Chloe.
We saw a Victorian chaser who I think was distracted by the beater play, fell asleep, and was punished for it.
Fell asleep at the wheel. We can't be having that. And Chloe Kneebone sees the kill trigger and goes for it. She presses that button.
New beaters on for the Bluebottles. We have Ryan Shields, who at the start of the game was doing the best job probably in consistently applying pressure as we see here. And we see Georgia as the other beater from the Blue Bottles. Very, very new player.
Yeah, Andrew
Is
Quinn
here
over
for a girls'
to
trip to Melbourne. An unfortunate long beat miss, and that's
That's
a goal to Adrian.
Adrian Marshall.
Number 15 from Victoria. Excellent finish. In that interchange, we also reclaimed bludger control, and this is what we were talking about before.
Keeper is Adrian. Chaser is Andrew. Of the two guys.
Yeah. No.
Got it.
No. We have Andrew in point on 15 who just scored,
yeah.
and then the keeper is not Ashley King. Goal! That's a shot from Giacomo to bring it to 30-40
He
for the ball.
step to the right, shot through the middle. That's his bread and butter.
We have Ryan putting on the power and Obal delivering a beat.
Victoria
Right.
having to reset the hoops after.
One of the things that I will give Victoria is I think that their hype for the tournament has been the highest out of all of the teams so far, supporting all of their tackles, all of their things. They've been really getting around each other and making them fight for every ball and fight for every opportunity.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
really appreciating that from Victoria.
And that home field advantage, and they have some veterans coming in, and they have some people that they know they have an interesting mix. They have that vet mix plus some players.
That's another goal!
Great stuff there from Victorian player Andrew Quinn, number 15. Jacko,
That's their
turning on the
seeker
Jets.
as well. Might be their highest goal scorer this game and a snitch catcher. We will see. We will see.
how we progress. Giacomo looking for the shot
That's
here.
a beat
Goes
on
over
Giacomo.
to
A deflect there.
Deflect from Alex. Alex
Butler. And a
goes-
goal! The 37 from the Blue Bottles.
Hannah Woolraven's not able to get the ball locked down there. She was hanging onto the arm, and I think another few steps and she would have had something. But
We have lost footage. We have lost our feed. We are just undergoing our technical
issues.
issues. The score is 40-52 Victoria.
We're just gonna have to go for the audio, the old radio audio podcast style.
And we see Victoria coming up, and then they're protecting their cover with the chasers. And number 16 is protected by number 8, and they're going to come around on a left side swing. They're coming around, and oh boy, we have a beat on one of the Victorian chasers, and a beat on a Victorian beater. But they're driving. He shoots. He scores. Oh, it's a miss. A close range miss.
That last second hand
From
stopping that shot from, I think that was
This
Giacomo
one
was just
is now
holding on
Adrian.
to. Yes. this is
Adrian Marshall,
yeah.
a narrow miss. Right on hoops, no defender, but dragged by a little bit of contact.
And that goes to show that any contact, it does make a difference. To make that pass slightly worse, it makes that finish slightly harder. You might not think that you're doing much, but it does make a difference. So we have.
We follow a key cricketing
That's
tradition of
unfortunate.
putting your body on the line. Excellent. No goal, but a good shot from Logan. I think that's exactly the type of Logan you need to do well in this game.
Ollie
Here we
and
have
JV,
bludger control
regaining
recovered by
control.
Ollie and JV.
Against Ben Watson, who was fighting there.
This will be one of the smartest beater lines that the Blue Bottles can trigger out, and right before snitch on pitch is a perfect time to put out this beater line. They will be really, really clever, and will hopefully hold on to some control.
I mean, they got control back.
We have
pretty
Benji
quickly, so we'll
Watson.
see.
Benji Watson and Nicola Girdler, another smart beater pair, and what a surprisingly athletic one. We see Benji Watson quite often make some pretty incredible plays to regain bludger control and to stop goals, more than might be expected.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping we see some highlights here.
Adrian Marshall and Ed
Vinay.
Vinay. Coming on.
Oh, a
Ed
catch!
taking the drive.
A catch, and that should be
The
a beat.
shot.
They are sending back the Victoria. There is a goal there, but they are sending back the Victorian beater, and there is no bludgers. And that is
That's
going to
a
be
good hit
contact.
from
Should
Ed.
be a contact from behind, I think, on that one.
Cooper was right there, so Cooper clearly saw that good. Great pass there from.
Oh, and a
finish from
goal!
Chloe Nebo, and she knew she didn't have much time, so she finished it quick. And
I'm
finished she did.
going upstairs there if I'm the referee, and I'm looking for helpless receiver there. That was a hit on a player who was fully stretched out to score the ball and caught the ball.
And they're going to get the
They're not going
advantage
to call
play
it
on the
because she
fact
was
that
able to
she
play.
scored,
Yep, exactly.
but
they're not going to call that.
doesn't necessarily change the fact. But we're not here to ref. We're
I
here
am.
to commentate. Harry Jones is here to ref from the sidelines. That is the only kind of flavour commentary that we have. We've actually got Nathan Morton sitting down the back, Victoria, sending someone
This
down
is a really
deep.
dangerous
Interesting,
situation.
yeah.
This is Nathan Morton at his most dangerous when he's confident to sit back and be this receiving player, the drifting to the left and the shot while running left is a lethal killer that has put away a lot of teams. See, there we go. Benji Watson reclaiming bludger control for his team.
We've got Ollie beating out both
Oh.
players. Looks like that might be called for turnover. Yes, that's what's going to be called.
And bludger control is regained
Logan
by
taking
JV
that
James
too
Holland.
quickly. Logan taking that ball too quickly.
And JV's been sent back to hoops, so bludger control will end up with Victoria.
Okay, so through this, we don't see. Okay, no.
They have
Bludger control with Victoria looks like a little bit of.
goal.
There's going to be a goal to Nathan Morton. Nathan Morton, the veteran. I think that really shows in moments like that, right? You have some confusion about, okay, what's happening? Everyone's looking at the refs. Nathan Morton's just playing on. He's being like, okay, I'll play the whistle, and the whistle hasn't blown yet. This is a good opportunity to drive through the team and score, and I think that's kind of experience that does matter because you get those kind of elements.
We're going to have a
like
red
a red
card
card.
here for disrespect to an official. A very serious card to put out, but from our understanding,
Oh,
we
it's
have
been changed to a blue card.
a blue card. Interesting. A red card given by the referee, and then upon the player request, changed to a blue card. I wonder what went down there.
I wonder what the call was. We do have a ball turnover. But we talked about spicy, right? The narrative here is that this was always going to be a spicy game. It is shaping up, right? It's 20 up for Victoria. And both of these teams have something to prove. Both of these teams have last year to look back on, and it was hard fought. So this was always going to be a full-on game. Both teams laying their bodies on the lines, putting themselves on the line to finish this. So we have Edvinet coming up. Hand off to Hannah Wall Ravens.
Victoria really want this goal, and they're going to get it. They've got the no bludgers.
And I'm
And here
looking
comes
over to
Nathan
Nathan.
Morton.
This is his
you've got
option
to
here.
put money
There
on
you
it.
go.
There you go. The drift left and shot is money.
That is his movement. You can't let him have that space. And if you're going to let him have that
Gonna have
space,
a
you can't let him go that direction.
Time out here, I think, for Victoria. Oh, sorry, from the Blue Bottles.
I think
wouldn't
this
be
is smart
surprised.
from Bluebottles. I think this is a great call from coaching team Cameron Walker and Harry Huang.
I would have preferred it, I
Smart.
think, on the previous goal because they've allowed now another goal of essentially the same caliber, the
Agreed.
exact same goal. The Nathan
There
Morton
wasn't really
drift
much
left.
chance because they didn't have possession of the quaffle, and there wasn't really a
They-
break in play.
They
for-
did when we got the Logan card.
Yeah, you're right.
Would have probably
Potentially that would have been the best
But, you know,
place time. Yeah, but
Second best time is now.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is a great time. Victoria are 30 up. Victoria probably chatting about. Well, actually, Harry, what do you reckon these teams are chatting about? Victoria 30 up.
I think a lot of the Blue Bottles here is going to be talking about gumption. They're ready to go into a thing, and they're talking about they only need one. They need one more goal to be back in this game and to be back ready to win it. They're going to be pushing hard. They're going to be talking about bludger control. Victoria are going to be talking about holding bludger control, but they're also going to be talking about getting one more goal as well. If I was the Blue Bottles coach, I would be requesting that a player drop onto Nathan Morton and just interfere with that pass if they're playing him behind.
100%.
And you've just got to, even if it's somebody where Nathan still has a mismatch, you're just creating a little bit of disincentive just throwing that pass and giving him that free time.
And especially if that player's marking Nathan on his left, right? So he can't get we've seen that he can collect the ball with one hand and take 2 steps and shoot. If you're just making that shot slightly harder because you're just edging that left hand, it's just going to make that much harder because Victoria at the beginning of the game weren't really dropping a player back, but they've started to, and it's I mean the last player has seen was quite successful. So
It's also a big feature of them bringing out Ed Vignier and
Absolutely.
Nathan
And
Morton at the
Nathan
same
Morton
time,
together.
while also retaining the powerhouses of Hannah and Mish. as well. And this is the strongest chase line that Victoria can drop out.
we have Ben
And we're
Watson
seeing
and Nicola
Yeah.
as our intelligent
very
beaters
strong
there.
beater pair, yeah.
Absolutely. But speaking of beaters, we have control over with the Blue Bottles. Logan bringing up the ball.
We have
coming
new
up with
chasers. We have Amber Briley. We have Mayu
Kawaguchi.
Kawaguchi. We have Logan Davis back from his blue card. And the fourth is Eden.
Eden Hodge coming up. Mayu looking for an option here. Ed
We
edging out
still
to
have
Logan.
beta control from the Blue Bottles, and they
Looking
are
for something
going to be
here.
reticent to use it, I think. I think they're
Looking for an off-ball
really
screen
wanting this
there.
goal. But
Mayu
I think
heading it over
you've
to-
got to do a little bit more in the beta game to help the team, huh?
Yeah, the
And we're
beaters
getting a fast break here, some pressure put on JV. Great throw back from JV. Probably would have been a smarter op to play the inbound and stand on
for
the
a tackle
inbound.
there. But JV
But
managed.
great hustle from JV to
Yeah.
maintain logic control.
That's great
Really
stuff
happy.
from JV, James, Christopherson, Lim.
See,
Lim.
here we now have Ed Vignier on the wing, and he needs to take advantage of that space that's created. Not
That's
get
right.
cleared. Evan, yeah, that's one half of the problem. Now you just got to do the rest.
Great
and
catch from
I
Oliver.
Can't do that. Oh,
Another great
double
catch from
in a
Oliver
row.
Dinar. Some great stuff.
And beating it. This is going to be a
Beating out
fast
Sam,
break
this
back.
could be they don't have the ball yet. This is a press here. Nathan getting the push off.
Turnover,
but
and this will be a fast
turnover.
break.
Here we go.
Oh,
Eden
no,
Hodge, let's see what we've got.
One beater back, one beater back.
He needs the option here. There you go, Mo. You
Oh,
getting beat on the
and a
on the
turnover.
pass.
Unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. Logan probably slightly slow
Sam
to
Kilpatrick
roll.
trying to blow up the play, but is instead giving that's probably an incorrect choice.
Incorrect choice by Oliver. Ryan looking for the push here. Nathan safe. There's an option to go. Nathan looks
Nicola
to
needs
take
to get
it.
in there and make this trade.
Eden, great tackle there. Denies the pass. Gets his hands on ball.
And a goal.
Nathan with a fantastic pass out.
Maddie Elliott.
Maddie Elliott in the
on
right
ball.
spot.
You
right
know
time.
she was standing there screaming.
Oh,
ready,
yeah.
ready for it.
The audible cues were there. Nathan knew exactly where that ball needed to go, and especially,
And great stuff from Maddie Elliott finding that spot.
oh yeah, absolutely. It seems that those stationary places on hoops are quite open from both teams, right? You don't necessarily need to be running in. Contrary to popular opinion, you don't need to be running in to catch those. Those stationary spots are open, right? We see Victoria here pushing a little bit more out.
And here we go, another
Mish is the
goal
only
for
one.
Victoria's coming up.
Nathan Morton
The big
putting on the
tackle
jets.
from Logan Davis,
Looks for
but
the
a
pass
finish
over
from
to Tim
Tim
Scott. Great stuff from
I would rank
Victoria.
this as my 9th favourite Tim Scott hairstyle.
Oh yeah, they're shaved?
Yeah, I like it. I respect it. It's a state shield tradition to shave your head.
Yes, that's true.
Um,
That's true.
Done it many times. I almost did it this year, and I regret that I didn't. He looks great.
Yeah, but he's just a
No,
handsome, he's just a handsome man.
Oh, it's true.
He's
It's
a
hard to
handsome
compete with that.
man. Yeah.
9th sounds low, but we've seen many hairstyles from this man.
Great dodge there from Tim
Oh,
Scott.
that's a
Forcing the turnover. Mish getting
great
the block
intercept from
there.
Mish.
That was just good offense.
That's what we want to see. And Mish is
Good
going to throw
defense.
this off. Very nice. Keeper in Ashley King.
That's just
Comes Ash, and this is once again. This is the half and a stop, but we've got a good tackler up the front here from Eden. Oh, and a good
great
stop
stuff from Logan. Remembering that he's not keeper as well, not going through the hoops. If Logan can do something, it's rules.
We need
And here we
keepers.
go.
Important here. We need to get keepers' hands on the ball.
But this
If
is gonna
a
be-
10 count starts, the keeper's hands on the ball means that it retains. Protected keeper's hands on the ball means it retains with you instead of turning over to the other team.
Mish Duke, formerly Mish Mannering, now Mish Duke.
Oh, true.
Um,
Mazel tov.
Jumping in there to just to slow down the play, let the beaters come in. We actually have Chris Collins coming in as the beater, getting beat out there.
They
looking
did that in
pretty
their
aggressive.
first game as well. They brought Chris Collins on for the stitch on pitch for the athleticism, speed, and pressure. We have the Seekers released
Max
already.
Pockley, Carl
Jacob,
Koverick.
Carl Koverick,
Getting some time on the
save
seat.
here, getting some great time
On
on
the
the snitch. But Jacob Sutherland, an incredible snitch, coming hot off of a grand final appearance as a snitch for the Nations Cup grand final, and he's taken a hit to the head. He's gone down.
It's Jacob going down there. Carl putting some good
like an-
pressure on, but it looked like there was just
bit
too
of an
many
elbow.
bodies. Too many bodies in the way there. Carl trying to dodge as well as Cash. A bunch going on there. Jacob taking a hit there.
While we were at Nations Cup, every single time Jacob took the pitch as a snitch, he refed 4 UK games, England games. And every single time he took the pitch, all of their players said, "Oh no, not again."
And that's what we love to see.
He was blamed by the tournament director being single-handedly delaying the tournament.
Great stuff there from Ash King. Shooting through Logan's hands. Logan trying to get for a block here. Logan taking the sub. I
Some
think
good beating from Chris Collins.
Potentially going to see a shortening of lines here.
Oh,
Victoria
almost
up
almost
60.
a beautiful catch.
Up 50 there.
Both of Victorian Seekers are
Great stuff from Chris. Gets beat out though, unfortunately.
and that's going to be tough.
That pass from Charlotte not quite getting there. The
Oh.
offense is still on though. Giacomo caught
Oh,
ball
almost
watching.
a snag from Ryan.
Oh. Alex Butler managed to get the push out. Looks like it's going to be Bluebottles'
Turn
ball.
over to Bottles Ball.
So we'll see what Bottles can do with this.
Score is 5,100 though, so Bluebottles need the catch to stay in this game, and then we'll need to score 50 to
With
win.
Andrew Quinn, the Seeker who you were pumping the tyres up of earlier. Coming
He's a
in.
very, very good seeker, very smart seeker. He knows the moves that works for him.
Well, he's looking
It's
for
a
that
beat on
side swipe,
Vicky
and he's moving Jacob into their half, and he's
Yep.
also turning him the right way. So we'll see as he attacks here. He's turning Jacob the
Turnover.
other way. Yeah. So
One
he saw where Ryan come
unside
from,
point is
so-
I think we've had Mish Duke
Duke.
playing I think the entire game up to this point.
Yeah.
So a very impressive effort to keep that up, at the very least for a very, very large proportion of the game.
Matty Elliott being able to.
We're seeing the Bluebottles chasers just are seeming a little bit lost in the chaos, in the panic. They're not
Nice dodge
taking
there
their
from Nathan
time. They need to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more realizing that every goal here is important.
I think they're feeling the pressure of being 50 down, 60
down
down
now.
at this point. Yeah, 60 down.
We have
with
a
snitch on
third
pitch.
different seeker from the Bluebottles.
Yeah.
Third
We have
choice.
Eden Hodge here. Giacomo getting a touch there, but he has to race for it. Great stuff from
great
Giacomo.
heads-up play from Giacomo Bugba, bouncing the quaff as he was falling out of bounds, bouncing the quaffle off of Matt Timgate so that it would go out off of Victoria and they would retain the ball. A very, very clever play.
Yeah, smart. Eden Hodge here taking his time. He knows he needs his time with the Nathan Lamb not letting Eden second. We've got
Miss,
Nathan
unfortunately,
Morton here coming
on
in.
the shot.
Unfortunately,
But
Chloe Nebo missing the beat.
Alex Butler has been incredibly consistent on these finishes when they're not applying the pressure appropriately. You should be considering Alex Butler here, number 37 from White, as the most powerful driver from the Bluebottles side right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think
This is a really smart matchup choice as in the seeking for the Bluebottles. Eden being able to match Jacob's size and length.
Absolutely.
Really you can see is putting Jacob through some conniptions.
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Bluebottles catch in the near future.
I mean, it had really increased the spiciness here. We have Victoria just managing to convert those. I think they got quite a benefit there from those fast breaks, being able to just run it through, generating those turnovers. Some excellent defense from Victoria, some excellent aggressive defense. We saw them moving out, looking to cut off those passing lanes and forcing Bluebottles to just look for those longer passes because they didn't really necessarily back themselves to run into hoops and take some space there and take those drives. So that's tough when the snitch on pitch when it really comes down to a lot of driving, and Alex Butler here jumping on is, Alex Butler along the likes of Charlotte Wen, some great drivers there, and we'll see what they can do to kind of hope, potentially bring this game back for the Bluebottles.
Well, first step's a catch.
All right, so we have a Brooms down here, giving Jacob some time to rest.
We see Chloe Kneebone making her appearance as a beater. She did this in the last game too. I'm curious to understand the strategic choices here. Putting in more experienced players on over some of your more new to the sport beaters in an important moment like the snitch on pitch makes a lot of sense.
Well, that snitch on pitch beating is just, it really is a different game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it is just a different game, and you
Best
need
part
to
of the
be
game.
focusing on so many different things. And, you know, the mind needs to be working overtime to manage, especially when you're those, 50 points down. You want to be stopping goals, but you also can't let them catch. So you are in that unfortunate position where you're managing both. You're managing, okay, how do I stop this goal? Do I have half a second to look at the quaffle, and then I have to go back to snitch? So I think that experience is gonna help the Bluebottles here, and we see Chris and Chloe doing quite a good job of.
We've created a lot of
holding
time for
off.
the Bluebottles snitch seekers.
Yeah.
The flag
Absolutely.
runners, we should say. We've been bad.
Yeah. The quad ball,
The volleyball.
the volleyball.
Volleyball.
Extended Brooms down here. A bit
Curious to see
too
what
far
the-
away to really know what the call is here. No
Excellent.
call. No call. No call on the play. Right.
Ooh.
Victoria got the ball here. What do you think? Do you, as Victoria, stall here and just go for slow goals, or do you try and keep pushing it?
You just push them. You keep pushing them because you want to get those points up. So if they do get the catch, 'cause right now they're looking like they might get the catch. If they do get the catch, you want to be higher up.
Yep.
So I think you need to keep pushing it. There is a choice if for tiredness and the tiredness of their players that they might not do that.
Getting a good stop there. Timgate over at the back. Good feet there from Charlotte Wen.
Ooh.
Unfortunate from
And here comes the
Rich Duke.
Bluebottles. They're going to make it 40.
Alex Butler
Nathan Morton in
looking
the
for an
seeking
option
is
here.
a lethal threat here.
Leading pass to
And a
Eloise
goal,
Taylor.
Eloise Taylor.
Fantastic work. But Nathan Morton getting
Yeah,
some
he's
time on
getting
the
a lot
snitch.
of time
He's
on
getting
the
a
snitch,
lot of
and
time
he's
on the snitch. He's taking
He's
the sub
subbing.
now.
Here we go.
We have Max Pockley back on. Jacob has his work cut out for him. Eden and Max both able to
Oh,
match
a
Jacob's
great
strength.
beat.
Some great work from
But a
Eden.
take
and
from
that is a
Victoria!
take from Victoria.
Oh, a perfect catch.
That is good stuff from Victoria. Getting the double arm fend into the lunge.
Max Pockley always does have that two-armed tactic, and the question you always have to ask is how much did that other arm restrict the seeker movement? The two arms go around, and one of them is catching. but whether or not the other one is wrapping and holding the snitch is always a little bit contentious.
And that's really Jacob's call, isn't it, as the flag runner there, isn't it?
And if I was a betting man, I would say that this is going to be called a good catch.
I'd say so as well. I think that's a clean catch to
Clean catch to
Victoria. So
Victoria.
that's excellent work there from
Excellent
Victoria.
catch.
So we've got Victoria coming in hot with 140 to 70 there. So doing quite good.
Saw a nice close game until about 3/4 of the way to snitch on pitch, and then Victoria really managed to pull it away.
I think that aggressive defense from Victoria really broke down that Bluebottles offense.
Yep.
They didn't really have anywhere to go. Those passes weren't quite as crisp as they needed to be. They weren't getting to players. They were passing laterally and it was just going out, / people were getting tackled as soon as they received that ball. And the Bluebottles weren't able to move that ball around as they wanted.
Yeah.
And as, you know, Blue Tongues and having gone to their training camps, that's what they want. That's what they've been training. And taking that away from them is excellent tactically from Victoria. So
Absolutely.
Fantastic work there.
Absolutely. All right. On the whole, I thought that was a really, really fantastic game. Really keen to see these two teams continue participating throughout the tournament. Next up, we have the Blue Tongues versus the Queensland Firehawks.
Exciting stuff coming up. Obviously, Harry Jones and I both are a little bit biased. Queensland, what's your take?
Queensland have quite a few of their newer players. With the drop in players, the loss of players from last year, a lot of those Scorpions players, they
Had a big changeover.
have a lot of holes to fill. From what I've seen, they've got a lot of really good young promise at this level. But I think that they need a little bit of time, but I'm very keen to get on the field and see how they go face to face.
And there's a mix, right? You have an absolute mix there of some expert, experienced players. Josh Lindley.
You want to stop? We'll keep you active.
It's Josh Lindley kind of coming in as some experience leading that team there. It's just a matter of who is able to take those heavy minutes in those games when it's coming up against tough teams. But definitely one to watch. Definitely stay tuned. Queensland coming in, a lot of fresh talent on their team mixed in with that old guard. So we'll see kind of how those two work together.
That's all the time for our presentation. I've been Harrison Jones.
I am still Max Brenner.
Goodbye.
See ya.
My favourite was to go, I have been this person and will remain so.
Yeah.
Alright, that was good.